Hi, I'm Larry McAtee, Ward 3 City Councilman, and what a delight it is today to welcome one of our new citizens to Oklahoma City, Kurt Thomas from the Chamber of Commerce, Head of Economic Development.
I am. I work at the Chamber under Roy and run the Division for Economic Development, that's right.
And you brought Roy with you today, Roy Williams, Head of the Oklahoma City Chamber. Roy, nice to have you with us, and thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule.
Larry, it's always a pleasure. Enjoy doing this.
How about giving us a little bit of background for our viewers, Kurt?
Sure.
So they can know who you are.
Absolutely. I've been in economic development for a little over 20 years, the last 8 years in Shreveport, Louisiana. But I'm also an Army brat, and my dad was a Presbyterian minister, so I've moved around a bit as a kid as well, and am glad to be here in Oklahoma City now. So it's my family's excited to come up.
Now, what is going on with Shreveport? Don't we have our head of a CVB from Shreveport also?
Yes.
Have you got a pipeline down there?
We've been tapping Louisiana for their brightest and best. Yes.
Well, and Rhonda Hooper's from there originally, too.
Is Rhonda from there also?
She was born there, so.
We can have a family reunion.
There you go.
We can. We have our own alumni association.
How did you find Kurt, Roy?
When the position came open, just like we have in the past, we hired a national executive recruitment firm that actually specializes in economic development searches. And so they conducted a search. They came up with a number of really highly qualified candidates across the country. I put together internally some of our key leaders on our executive committee to vet some of the candidates with them as well. And we narrowed it down to what we thought was a really good pool to look at. Kirk was obviously in that pool, and he was our #1 choice, and so we were able to cut a deal with him and to get him to come over. So we were really pleased with the caliber of candidates that we had nationally that were interested. I mean, in fact, this was really a plum job. There were a lot of people we never expected nationally who would be interested in this job, so we were quite amazed at the quality of candidates. But at the end, we felt Kurt had the background, had the experience, had a combination of things we were looking for, and so he was our pick. And fortunately, we were able to convince him that this was the right next move for him.
Now, why do you think this was such a plum job, Roy?
Well, we're getting so many accolades by third parties about what's going on here. Plus, our unemployment rate is considerably low, has been consistently low. Great growth in manufacturing jobs, income, combination of growth in the hospitality industry as well. So Oklahoma City is just on the radar screen nationally. The other way you see that is by all of the inner city visits that are coming here, and I know you've been a part of some of those, but we just had 2 back-to-back and have another one coming in. Boise City is in town today. Louisville was in town for 3 days. Prior to them was Raleigh. And those cities are coming here because they're hearing the buzz of Oklahoma City, and they want to see what's going on there. Why are you the lowest unemployment? Why are you growing jobs? Why is your income going up? So that's the buzz that's out there, and why people are looking at us as a model for going through an economic time where so many other places have struggled, and we've actually thrived.
So while we have challenges, we've got a lot going for us here.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, no community ever can say we have no challenges, but by the same token, very few can say they're experiencing what's going on like we are.
So sometimes our own citizens look at the glass being half full, but these other cities like Raleigh and Boise and Louisville,
right,
they see our glass as being, I mean, we think it's half empty.
Right.
They're seeing it as half full.
Right, and you know, the rest of that story is our strategy is long term. It's not kind of flash in the pan, let's see what we can get this year and hope everything works out. But when you look at what this community has done long term in infrastructure investment, the MAPS program, bond issues, the corporate commitment to the community, you know, it's a long term program that's been put into place as opposed to just a quick fix it.
Now, Kurt, you've only been here just a short period of time.
This is my 5th week on the job.
And your family's not even moved here. You're still selling a house.
Right.
What's your first impressions of Oklahoma City?
Well, I think having grown up on the East Coast, you know, I think the impressions are just like in a lot of places you have sort of a picture in your mind. I had been up here once a couple years ago to look at a college with one of my daughters, so I had seen the community, and but the skyline's even changed over those 2 years. I'm used to more trees, but I love that you can see what's going on here, and I'm not going to have to rake as much, which is very good. I'm looking forward to that. But no, I think, seriously, I think both from what you can visually see, I think there's a sense of vibrancy to the area. You see good things going on in nearly every part of the city and the region. But then from a sort of the fabric of the people, I sense a lot of excitement. One of the things that drew me here was the optimism and the connectedness of the leadership, both private and public. That buzz is out beyond our environs as well. And when I saw that the job was open and I knew Roy from other things, I just knew that if you have the leadership working together, there's so much that can be done. So.
Now you threw a little thing in there, East Coast. Whereabouts on the East Coast?
Well, my family's from Pennsylvania, from Lancaster, Pennsylvania, which is Amish country, but I grew up a little bit in New Jersey, a little bit in Maryland, Pennsylvania. My dad was in the military, so we moved around just a little bit.
Now you don't have the true Jersey twang like I do.
I don't.
You call it New Jersey. New Jersey.
That's right.
Throyd and Throyd Avenue.
That's right. That's right. I have friends that speak like that.
He maybe wouldn't have gotten the job if he.
That's right.
Now wait a minute now.
That's right.
Well, it's great that Oklahoma City is attracting talent like you.
It is.
And you mentioned that I think your daughter off camera had come out here and is interested in a musical.
She is. I have 4 children, one who's an economics and business major in Mississippi, and I have 2 boys at home still, and they're going to be moving up here and going to school here in the area. So they were just here for the weekend. We went to the hockey game and have had a lot of fun exploring the community. So I think they're excited.
And the Barons have been a great addition to our town, haven't they, Roy?
They have, and you know, all the different forms of sports. The baseball team has been exceeding, I think, their expectations in attendance. So hockey, basketball, baseball, collegiate activity, yeah, I mean, everything seems to be hitting on all 8 right now.
And so that sports arena adds a lot of impetus to the economic development activities that you're involved with.
I think it does, or at least it gives people a sense that if they're moving to an area or bringing their company here, they don't have to give up something that they might have had where they were. We have it here, whether it's the great park system that's developing and is developed, whether it's the waterfront and the river that we're now crewing on and bringing crews in from all over the country and eventually from around the world, hopefully, to crew. I think people just discover the neat things about the community very quickly here. And it's not something that's by accident. Our community, it seems like, has made a significant effort to put these things in place for ourselves.
If you were sitting down with an executive right now who's thinking about relocating his company to Oklahoma City, what would you say the greatest strength that Oklahoma City brings to the table?
Well, I think that partnership I mentioned before, that we can get things done and that what we say we're going to do, we'll do, is one of them. I think then the second piece would be the people. I think one of the reasons we have a low unemployment rate is we have tremendous people that can go to work at these employers and add value very quickly. So I think the combination of that, and then obviously our geographic, our geographic proximity to other places, but I think it's that connectedness, that partnership, and the people that make all the difference.
Now, when you talk about geography, I love the mountains and I love the ocean. We don't have either one of those here.
Okay.
What do you mean by geography?
Well, in the sense that proximity to key markets, where we are in the United States, centrally located, the transportation networks that can connect, and we have a great airport that can get you to the mountains or get you to the ocean pretty quickly. So,
now, we're talking about the greatest strength. What would be the greatest challenge do you think you're going to face in the coming 12 months?
Well, I think one will be to see how the economy performs, and I'm optimistic, but I think right now there's a little bit of a pause because of the election cycle. That's not a D or an R thing. I think that's just generally a cycle.
Back to life.
I think that will pick up either way after the election, and I think you'll see that our challenge, I think, as a community is going to be, we've had so much success, how do we make sure that we've got the product set up for companies to be able to come in and take advantage of what Oklahoma City and the region has to offer.
Define product for our viewers.
The product might be land, it might be infrastructure, water, sewer, could be road networks, the people themselves, the different schools, whether it's Metro Tech or Francis Tuttle or the different institutions in the area. If you think about it as sort of a product, when someone invests here, whether that's a Devon Energy or someone, they're investing in a product so to speak, because they're going to be using people to work for them. They're going to be buying services in the area. They're going to be flying in and out of the area. That's the product.
Now, you mentioned that the airport was one of our strengths, and yet I hear people say, well, we don't have enough direct flights, Roy, to here, thither, or yon. How do you balance those two?
Well, I think partially they're right, but all that's market driven. And as we begin to build mass, and as we have companies who are doing national business like the direct flight to Cleveland, you know, we're going to see more and more of that. So you can't just create flights. There has to be demand for flights. So it's not so much a chicken and an egg. It's pretty much the demand has got to be there, and then it will come. It would be great if it would be better. But every one of my peers across the nation will say the exact same thing, you know. But we're getting there. We're continuing to expand.
What do you see as our biggest strength?
Well, Kirk's already touched on it, and it's a strength that I echo to you based on what people tell me. These cities come here and they look at Oklahoma City, and the thing that always strikes them is how the public and private sector work together. And in most cities, that does not happen. And it's that willingness to sit down, to disagree, to then agree, and then to move forward for what's in the best interest of the community, not what's in the best interest of my particular need or what agenda I have. And that is a precious commodity that is lacking most everywhere, but except here. And when these cities come here and they sit down and they hear these presentations, that's what just blows them away, that if they could get that in their town, they know they could do anything they wanted to do. And we've shown them you practically can when you have everybody pulling on the same rope. And that's the magic in Oklahoma City.
Everybody pulling on the same rope.
Absolutely.
Biggest challenge we face next year?
Well, keeping them on the rope.
Keeping them on the rope without going the rope around the neck.
That's right.
You know, and keeping that kind of momentum. It's easy to get complacent. It's easy to say, let's rest. But I think we have to run hard every day. We can never slow down because there's everybody nipping at our heels, you know, to try to catch us. And so we have to get up every morning knowing, you know, there's people behind us, and we've got to stay ahead of the pack.
We can't be that slowest gazelle. Or
no, you can't. You know,
the lion will get us.
And you don't want to just be ahead of that one of them. You want to be ahead of the pack. And so, you know, keeping people focused on that, and that we've got to continue to put resources into that. We have to continually, individually be committed to that, and companies have to be committed to that, is always the challenge.
We're coming into Thanksgiving season. If you had to say one thing to our viewers out there that being in Oklahoma City at this day and time we should be thankful for, what would it be?
I think the fact that while there still are families that probably need a job or would like a better job, that a huge percentage of our people probably are living much better now than many people around the country. We've been really blessed with a healthy economy.
Thank you, Kurt. And Roy?
Be thankful you're in Oklahoma City.
Be thankful you're in Oklahoma City.
Yes, because there's a lot of other places where the opportunities do not exist, where the jobs are really just not there. But fortunately, Oklahoma City right now is bucking the trend, and just be thankful you're here and being a part of it.
Guys, thanks for coming down, taking time out of your schedule. Viewers, I hope you've caught the excitement, the passion, the commitment that Roy and Kurt have to continue to move Oklahoma City forward. And what a time to be in Oklahoma City. What a time to be thankful for the blessings that we have. Thanks for coming down, guys. May God bless you as you go forward and carry that excitement that Roy and Kurt have shared with us this morning to your friends and neighbors. And let's keep Oklahoma City on the move. Thank you for watching.